welcome back to another brand new episode. So today I'm going to be testing out my RangeFinder today, and I'm going to test it out to see if it is still good, and I'm going to use it again this year for deer season. And this thing is pretty good. It still works. I just got to do some tweaking on this thing. This thing is called a Halo XL 450, and this is a pretty good rangefinder. I've used this thing, you know, quite a few times. I used it last year, and I'm going to use it again this year. But the only downside thing is that I think I kind of forgot how to use it. So when I'm gonna test it out this again and see if I can't get it back up to working. And why not test it out today? Today is the best day to test this thing out. And I'm out here in the field right now, but yeah, let's whip this thing out and see if I can, you know, see if I'm still good at using this thing, because it's got this nozzle on it where you can adjust it. Let's see. You see there's buttons on the top right here. You push that button to see how many yards you're looking at. And that's how far you're looking. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna find some areas to test this thing out, and we can get this thing back up to working. But first thing I want to do is I want to find some ideal spots to test this thing out, and we could practice for deer season. Even though deer season isn't even close, we still got a couple more months. But yeah, I need to find a specific area to test this out. Okay, let's see. Maybe I should test it out up here. There's a lot of areas up here that I can test it out. I was thinking about just testing it out up here and just, you know, looking around and trying to look at the key component, look at the yards and through this thing, so I can get that sight back on this rangefinder. Because last year I had this thing set up just right where I can just like look through it, and I didn't even have to do a lot of tweaking to it. So alright, so I'm looking at this tree right here in front of me, this tree right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this button right here, and this is going to tell me how many yards and how many modes I am. So that was 17 yards right there. So from right here where I was standing to this tree right here was, let alone, 17 yards. I know, that's pretty interesting. Just this tree right here was 17 yards. Right here, this tree, 17 yards. That is pretty cool. Legs are kind of itchy. Lots of love bugs. But yeah, let's go to the next spot and try to go to another spot, and then we'll look through the rangefinder and see if we get the same thing on this spot up here. Because so far this thing is pretty interesting. I'm seeing a lot of how far it is and what I'm trying to get to. Because when I get in the blind to go hunt some deer, I want this thing to be, you know, ready to go. Because once I use it, I'll have to set it up. But that's why I'm setting it up now, because this thing needs to be back up and running so I can use it again. Alright, this spot right here looks pretty good, so I'm gonna stand right here in this spot, right up in this area right here. This area right up here seems pretty good, so there's a lot of other spots I want to try too. This spot right here is pretty, it's not, you know, it's not like your average spot, but this spot right here seems pretty good. Let's see. Alright, from that tree looks a pretty good distance away. So let's whip this thing out. Click mode. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how far it is. "28 yards. Holy cow. So right here where I was standing, 28 yards. I don't think this thing's gonna even work for deer season because the blind I'm hunting in, you guys want to know how far we're shooting? We're shooting 200 yards. So this rangefinder is not going to work because this thing can only get up to probably 100 yards or more. But we're shooting like 200 to 300 yards. This rangefinder is only good for like stuff up like kind of close, but I don't know, this thing could come in handy. So this is the tree I was looking at. That was 28 yards from up there I was standing. So that's a pretty good estimate. I mean, that's still kind of 28 yards, and then the spot over there was 17, so 28 right there. So let's test it out up here out around the pond and stuff, and just to test it out up here. Up here kind of seems like a unique spot to test this thing out. And down here we can test this rangefinder out down here and just pretend to, let's see, I'm gonna look at the 3 poles from here. 3 poles, what you got? "75 yards. There's no way that's 75 yards. Well, maybe it is 75 yards. Well, I'm standing right here on the bank. Now, there's the 3 poles. That does not look like 75 yards. That looks like probably 50 or... Okay, that does not look right. Maybe it is. I don't know. This rangefinder is kind of weird. It needs a little bit of some tweaking, or I need to adjust the buttons and play with it. Yeah. Now that does look about 75 yards from here, but from standing right there, that does look like 75 yards, but it probably could be. I'm not 100% sure, because well, maybe it is. Well, guys, I had fun testing out this rangefinder, this Halo XL 450. This thing is a pretty good rangefinder, and I'm going to use it again this year for deer season, and hopefully this thing will come in use. I know it's going to come in use because I used it last year and it did pretty well, and I'm going to have to figure it out again this year because I haven't been using it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.